Hi everyone and welcome. So what have we got to play with this time? Well, first impressions would suggest it's a cheap looking multi-band radio, and to a certain extent you'd be correct. This cost around about 10 UK pounds or 13 US dollars at the time recording, and this is bought from AliExpress. However, all is not what it seems, and this radio has in fact got a few tricks up its sleeve which we're going to reveal as we go along. Now unfortunately I can't pronounce the manufacturer's name, my linguistic skills are not that good, but a quick look on Google Translate suggests that this is a Marathi language, and I believe that Marathi is spoken by Indians in Goa. So if there's anybody out there who can help me out with this, that would be appreciated. We're looking at a radio that's around about 140mm long, 86mm high and 30mm deep. Just give you the old mugshot test there, just so you get a better idea of the size. Control wise, on the front we've got a simple analog scale as you can see, and then we've just got a horizontal select and switch for the various bands. To the side we've got a tuning knob, and then we've also then got an on-off volume control. On the top, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, we've got a 5V DC input. What this comes with is a 600mAh rechargeable battery, so that's a nice feature to have given this price point to this radio. We've got an on-off switch for a torch, it's in fact got a built-in torch. We've got connections for USB and TF, so in other words we can actually play MP3 music from any of those media types. And then we've got the controls for controlling those tracks. We've got pause, we've got play, reverse and forward. Going to this other side, how about that for the size of a torch? That is really unexpected. In fact, we'll be testing that a little bit later on. And to the rear is the battery compartment, and that looks a rather large battery compartment considering the size of the radio. So we open it up, there's our little rechargeable battery. We can take that out, and then we've got room for putting two proper D-size batteries. So I'm just going to pop those in just to demonstrate. So you can actually run this radio off two D-size batteries, which is really useful. Come out, pop the original one back in, there we go, cover back on. What you can also do, if you connect the little power lead to this, and in fact they give you a little power lead, if they've got no batteries at all, you can actually run it directly off that power lead, so that's pretty interesting as well. So let's try it on an FM first, and then we'll go to the other stations in a moment. So let's put the aerial up, let's switch it on the side.
Tyreek Mitchell and Kyle Walker.
That actually sounds pretty decent. It's not going to be hi-fi, but I think the actual speaker built in is around about sort of a 1 watt rating, so that's not bad at all. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to test it on AM and also test the shortwave band. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so for this part of the video, I'm actually recording this in the evening just to provide optimal conditions for shortwave reception. I'm also utilising an incandescent bulb for lighting, so apologies for the low light levels. The reason for doing this is that LED lighting tends to generate an awful lot of electrical noise that you can pick up on shortwave, so I'm just trying to get just the best conditions to do this demonstration. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate both the AM bands, and then we've got 6 selectable shortwave bands, and this covers anything from 6.8 up to 18 megahertz. So let's try the AM band first. Let's see what we've got. So I'm just going to put that into the AM selection point there. You see on-off volume control on the side. Let's see what we've got.
UNICEF Humanity are first starting with Scotland. A sensation of crosses and passes. He's not playing first in football most of the time. En el boxeo después de la bolsa. Remember Scotland could play Wales for that play. El título.
Okay, that's quite lively. It's about what I was expecting. Let's put the aerial up now and let's try the first shortwave position. This is 6.8 to 7.6 megahertz. So let's see what we've got to play with. Bit of noise there.
Lo strumento è molto amato. Just be like, get in a car and drive down to Taco Bell and wait. 机场街的维护和保持是要的。La sécurité des locaux, la paix et le développement. Yes, absolutely. 就成为。
Okay, that's not bad at all. Let's try the next position. This is 9.2 to 10 megahertz. What we can try now is position 3, which is 11.5 to 12.2 megahertz.
No soy un peleador que lo vea mucho, ¿no?
En la edad que tiene ahorita hermano.
There's no petrol, there's no...
Okay, we're going to try with now position 4, which is 13.4 to 14.2 megahertz. Not so much on this perhaps, but I think it depends on what time in the evening that you actually sort of scout around for stations, exactly what's on what particular sort of band. Okay, let's try position 5, and this is covering 15 to 15.9 megahertz. So not much at the upper frequency band. Let me try the last one. This is 17.1 to 18 megahertz. Okay, so a little bit quieter down that area of the scale, but let's put it back then up to say something like about sort of 11.5. So I'm actually quite impressed with that, considering the low cost of this radio. It's actually picking up an awful lot of shortwave stations on a very simple aerial. I think if you clipped a long sort of wire aerial to this aerial, you'd actually increase the number of stations you can pick up, and also the signal strength as well. And while we're at it, let's just see how good that torch is. I'm actually just going to switch the light off, pop the torch on, and just see how good it is. So what have we got? That's all right, isn't it? That's not too bad at all. Let's pop that off. So I'm going to do now, then I'm going to restore the lighting and we can continue from there. Okay, so we're back under normal lighting conditions. What I'd like to do now is see if we can demonstrate playing some MP3 tracks utilising the USB connection there. To do that, we need to move the slider right over to the left hand side. Switch it on the side.
Bluetooth mode.
There's another surprise. It's got Bluetooth connectivity. So if I grab my little phone, let's see if we can play some music just to demonstrate. How good is that? So let's get the memory stick, pop that in. Turn that off. So in summary, I mean, to be honest, if you looked at it, it does look a bit sort of cheap. The scale doesn't sit correctly in the window there, if you ever sort of notice, and the music quality is not that best, or the audio quality I should say. It does tend to rattle when you put the volume up high. However, it's $13. You get all these features and you get a really good performance on the shortwave band. So if you haven't got much money, if you're just on a really tight budget and you like your shortwave, I'd really recommend this. I did a review on this Texan R909 recently, and this is a 9-band world receiver. It does all the shortwaves, etc. It's also got DX function as well. This costs more money, and I have to say this picks up more stations on shortwave. So it's not a question of you pay more money and you get a better sort of device. Sometimes you don't, especially when you're at the budget end of things. So all in all, it's a good old performer. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, then pop across my channel. There's plenty of other videos on similar items like this, and also on some vintage transistor radios if you like those as well. So as always, appreciate you watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.